Welcome to an all-new episode of Entrepreneur Interview Series on Entrejean, a platform for all the entrepreneurs out there looking for a community to share their journey, highs and lows. Entrejean encourages entrepreneurs to talk about their mental struggle, resilience, and help each other learn and grow from them. Today we have with us Saurabh Lal, the founder of Content Culture and CEO of Model Gaon. Saurabh is an entrepreneur by profession and an enthusiast by heart. He has done his bachelor's from Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, followed by his master's in business administration from Wellinger Institute of Management. Professionally, he has devoted his early years to encompass event management as an executive member and manager. In 2013, he has founded his own venture, namely Content Culture. Content Culture is an idea-driven brand content marketing studio focused on designing and implementing people engagement campaigns across the media and platforms. Welcome, Saurabh. Thank you for joining us in demystifying the stigma around mental well-being and success.
Thank you so much, Shazi, for having me. I really look forward to this talk.
Why entrepreneurship? Why did you take entrepreneurship as your way of handling things?
Since my school days, I had somehow developed an inclination to run my own show. And I really wanted to start something on my own, run my own company. Obviously, I was too young to understand the nuances of what entrepreneurship is. Probably I wasn't even aware about the term at that point of time. But I was fascinated how people run their own organizations, and these organizations become big and they have so many people working together towards a common goal. So that always kept me excited. I was somehow not very inclined towards more traditional career choices prevalent at that point of time, which were actually fairly restricted to either civil services or engineering or medical. Uh, and therefore probably both the things were the inclination of starting something own and not wanting to adopt a traditional career, which probably pushed me and nudged me towards entrepreneurship.
Were you aware of all the good, bad challenges, especially mental crusades that you have to battle out every day as an entrepreneur?
Not at all. I think you only realize these things when you're really deep into the game. Generally, when you start implementing any new idea, executing any new idea, it could be a short-term project, it could be an assignment, it could be trying to run a company or whatever it is. I think initially when you plan, you really plan for foreseeable hiccups and obstacles. So for example, if it's an assignment, you would want to know what is the scope of the assignment required from you, what kind of research you will have to do, number of hours that you'll have to put in, etc., etc. And likewise, the scale changes when you're trying to run an organization. But only when you start doing it is when you start realizing the mental aspect of it. Because mental stress or the impact a particular thing will have on your mind is not something which is very, very easy to foresee and anticipate. And therefore, when you are into the journey, you realize that while there were other factors that you could plan for, this is suddenly something which is really taking a toll on you. Mental well-being is actually a journey of discovery into anything that you are involved with, and then slowly and slowly you start realizing. I mean, it's very difficult to even understand what it is when it begins, and then slowly you start realizing that, okay, this is also a very critical aspect of the entire so-called project management or idea management that you're into, and then you start kind of navigating through it.
Okay, so this leads to my next question. Multitasking, different responsibility, like you often do, lead to a lot of stress. So how do you keep up with that and you're keeping in check your mental health and continue to move forward? Any secrets that we need to know?
Actually, over the course of the years that I've put in, and trying to juggle into multiple roles, I've realized eventually it boils down to the capability and the art of saying no. Because initially, when you start something, you're actually saying yes to everything, right? And it's natural in a way, because you don't really start with a lot of cushion, and therefore you would want to try everything. You would want to grab everything, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a professional. You would want to grab every opportunity coming your way, because that is also a way of how you identify what is that one thing that you would want to continue with from a longer horizon perspective. But then we eventually end up taking a lot of things on ourselves, and then we reach a breaking point where we realize that, okay, now this is too much, and then we start shedding it. Uh, for most people, it happens in a very knee-jerk manner. So suddenly, and it actually happens like that, where you would reach a point of time where you would say, okay, now this is enough. I can't handle more, and I really need to cut down on things. And then you drastically and radically start shedding off a lot of this so-called weight, which may not go down well with a lot of ecosystem that you have created. So, for example, if you were working on 5 ideas and you choose to drop two, everybody and anybody associated with those 2 ideas will not really be very, very, happy about it or comfortable with it. So therefore, if you, the sooner you can realize that, before you reach that threshold, if you can start anticipating that you're almost approaching that threshold, and if you can try and smoothen reducing your burden and, start saying no to a lot of things. I know it's easier said than done. Prioritizing is something which is very, very difficult to internalize. But the only challenge is that, unfortunately, there is no other way about it. So, as an entrepreneur, you have to multitask, you can't escape it. But you really need to know that even in multitasking, how many things and what kind of things would you want to get involved in, and start saying no. This is, whether you call it a skill or an art that you develop over a period of time. But the sooner you can start saying no to people, easier it becomes to kind of navigate them, and it also keeps the doors open for you to connect back to the same people later on. Because eventually, then everybody appreciates the fact that you were at least honest about the situation you were in. So I think saying no, don't avoid multitasking, because unfortunately, the kind of times we live in, it's not feasible, especially as an entrepreneur who's starting up. But know when to say no.
What are your list of de-stressing activities that help you?
Uh, I consume a lot of non-fiction content. It could be in the form of videos. It could be reading. I like listening to music and podcast. I'm actually in the works of creating a podcast of my own. What I'm also now thinking is that probably I can still be in my area of interest, but create a different product or create a different genre or whatever, something in that sphere where my interest is also there, but I don't take it as work. It is something like, following my passion of sorts. So do that, but reading and listening to music are really good. I am not trying to find time to talk to people who are close to me. I'm very bad at keeping in touch. So that is something that I'm now trying to work on. And actually, when you get back to people whom once you were very close with, it is actually a very de-stressing activity. Plus, it keeps you in very healthy company. However selfish it may sound, but if you are somebody like me who's not good at keeping in touch, just talk to people for the sake of de-stressing yourself. That will also help.
Are you satisfied, and what were your parameters for satisfaction as an entrepreneur?
Uh, Somehow I don't know, I'm not satisfied actually. And it so happened because at least for the first 5 to 6 years, I had no parameters to evaluate myself. Because typically what happens is that when you are in the service industry, especially, and for me, I did not set any top line goals, any revenue goals, saying that by this year I need to be achieving this much of revenue or this much of bottom line. I didn't do that because I was also trying to find my own niche in this entire space and spectrum of marketing. It was obviously crowded with some really great talent, some really big names in terms of organizations who were marketing agencies. And therefore, it was important to find my own inner strength and also understand that what is the niche that I would want to create. I always was very clear that I do not want to become a factory of sorts. So I did not want to really scale up to a very mammoth level. I wanted to be a specialized agency of sorts, where we do something which is niche and are sought after, and I thought it will also give me an opportunity to strike some balance between what I'm doing at work and what I would want to do in my personal life. uh, so so I had very clear ambition in terms of what is the shape that I would want to take through my organization, but not really in terms of any set tangible parameters as such, which I have now started doing only from say last 2 to 3 years, where I've started setting some revenue goals and some client goals and project goals, etc. Because now that you've achieved a certain sense of stability in terms of your core team being developed, certain core revenue streams that you have developed. So now these are things which are now on the horizon. But initially, and in fact, I think this is also a reason for a lot of stress coming back to entrepreneurs, because people start behaving. Generally, what happens, either you are a fresher and you have started something, or you have worked somewhere and you come back with a certain experience and then you have started something. In either ways, we always try and replicate whatever bigger organizations do. So for example, any startup, they would want to keep a top line target that by the end of this year, this is what we want to achieve. And then it starts adding a lot of stress backwards, because you need to realize that the company that you were working with, or the company that you have been watching documentaries on or hearing about, they took some time to reach that level where they can set a revenue target, and then they have an army of people trying to approach it. Initially, when you're a one person team, when you're a two people team or a small team of 4 to 5 people, you first of all need to really put the foundation strong. So there should not be any pressure of achieving something. I'm not suggesting that it needs to be an aimless journey, but I'm saying it shouldn't be a target that you would want to achieve. It should always be a direction that you would want to go in, because once you get your direction right, it's always easy to accelerate in that direction. But imagine you're going really fast but your direction is wrong, then by the time you understand what your direction is, the speed doesn't really matter. So my suggestion always is that do not put unnecessary pressure on yourself, because it always happens that the idea with which you start your business always evolves into something else by the time you really reach a point of understanding of how the businesses are run. Because all the mental simulations and the Excel sheets that you can work on, the real world scenario is very different. It will throw very, very different, illogical, nonsensical challenges at you. And then you would realize that all that working on your laptop didn't really matter, because this is the real world. So initially, when you're starting your journey, try and identify a direction for yourself. Do not put unnecessary pressure of unrealistic targets, because you would actually be able to surpass those targets once you've spent enough time in finding a direction. So direction over speed in the initial years, and then speed automatically catches up later on.
So, do you have any advice to your past self?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made, and I think I'm still continuing to make right now, is I'm probably not focusing on health. I think a bad lifestyle has been really glamorized for entrepreneurs, like working late nights, not having a routine, and the fact that I was able to work continuously for 4 days without sleeping are points which people really brag about. But in the long run, you understand that it didn't really matter, and because anything which is not sustainable will eventually break down. And when I'm saying health, I'm also talking about mental health, where you really don't need to add unnecessary pressure to yourself. I mean, end of the day, you're trying to pursue a passion. Why do you want to really kill the excitement by unnecessarily burdening it with a lot of unrealistic expectation? So one advice to myself would have been that, while obviously I worked really hard and I did put in that number of hours and sleepless nights, etc., but it's not cool. I mean, we are glamorizing the wrong aspects in any entrepreneur's journey. So an advice to myself would have been a more focused and sustainable lifestyle. uh, which, while I'm saying all this, it's not that I have achieved a very balanced lifestyle yet, but at least it's consciously active in my mind now. So, but please, anybody who else is also starting, do keep your health in absolute focus.
Thank you very, very much for your time. We are extremely grateful to you, Saurabh. Hope this rendezvous would help our audience, the budding entrepreneurs out there. Thank you for joining us for this week's conversation. Please like, share, and subscribe for content like this every week.